Welcome to Wex's Beginner to Pro series focusing on wildlife kit. We have 4 videos in this series, one at £500, one at £1,500, one at £5,000 and £10,000 when you've got money to burn. This video is about the £5,000 bracket. Let's dive into it. You've got £5,000 to spend, and I've recommended the Panasonic Lumix S1 Mark II paired with the Sigma 150 to 600mm f5 to 6.3 lens. Now, why have I recommended this lens and camera combo? Firstly, this is an L-mount native lens by Sigma, because Sigma is part of the L-mount alliance, so you've got all of their lenses available to you with a Panasonic Lumix camera, but also because this has a 24.1 megapixel partially stacked sensor. And what does that mean? It's partially stacked, which means it has a super fast readout speed for stopping action, but 24 megapixels gives you a lot of resolution to play with as well. And as this is a full frame sensor, you've got a lot more light gathering capability and much better dynamic range. The S1 II has a maximum dynamic range of 15 stops if you shoot in Vlog. The Panasonic Lumix S1 II can also shoot a staggering 70 frames per second in burst mode with pre-capture. So you can capture up to 1.5 seconds before you fully press your shutter down. But you can also change that to 0.5 seconds and 1 second if 1.5 is too much. The S1 Mark II has a 779 hybrid phase detect autofocus system with subject detection for animals and birds, and an ISO sensitivity range of 100 to 51,200, which can also be expanded to 204,800, which is an insane number. But one of the really cool things about the ISO setup in the S1 Mark II is it's a dual gain system. So as you move up through your ISO sensitivity range, it will switch to another circuit at those higher sensitivities, giving you much cleaner images well beyond 26,000. You'll still be able to get usable shots with the S1 Mark II. And why that's critical for shooting wildlife is typically when you're shooting the kind of wildlife that you'll shoot with a camera like this, is they're very active at dawn and at dusk, which is lower light conditions. But with a camera setup like this and an ISO sensitivity range that it can do, you're gonna be able to get much cleaner images in those active periods with the wildlife that you wanna shoot. In terms of handling, this is a full frame body, so it is a little bit more significant. It has a full magnesium alloy body and it's weather sealed, so you can use it outside in rain, in snow, in inclement weather without any stress whatsoever, especially when paired with a professional lens like this as well. But it has a really nice balanced weight to it, a really solid grip. You've got a large viewfinder as well to look through, which as I said before, it's not an optical viewfinder when you're shooting with mirrorless. So you've got all of your data viewable within the viewfinder. It's a nice circular ICOP, which I much prefer in terms of comfortability. It doesn't really dig into your eyes. So just in terms of handling, this is a really solid combination to use out in the field. Now you've got £5,000 to play with. So this camera and lens combo is already in the bag. What I would also recommend to pick up is a 70 to 200 f4, which has stabilization also built into it. But one of the reasons why I'd recommend this is because some of your subjects aren't going to be so far away. You want to be able to have another option for closer subjects, or if you're traveling lighter and you don't want to carry something as big and as very conspicuous as this is. The 70 to 200 is a constant aperture lens as well, whereas this is a variable aperture lens. So you've got a constant f4 with this, which isn't the fastest or brightest lens, but with a camera like the S1 Mark II, as I mentioned, you can get away with pushing your ISO a lot higher, which means you get the balance to trade-off with having a variable aperture lens like this Sigma or a constant f4. You can spend a little bit more money and take advantage of that really impressive ISO capability with a camera like the S1 Mark II. I've explained what this kit can do, but let's throw to Tom, who's out in the wild shooting with kit just like this.
Right, so when it comes to the £5,000 price bracket, what have I selected? Well, I've picked up the Nikon Z8 and I've got the 180 to 600mm telephoto here. Now this is a great option for all-round wildlife photography, got a significant amount of reach that's really nice. And as an all-round package in this section, I think the camera is a bit where the investment is really going to come into its own. Now, I have also brought along a second option in the 400 4.5 that I'll talk about in a minute, but let's run through these specs. Now, headline specs on the camera, the Nikon Z8. Well, I've got a 45 megapixel full frame camera that is wonderful in terms of its dynamic range and its quality, everything like that. Croppability is all perfect. The speed of this camera, autofocus, lightning fast, wonderful eye detection in terms of animal AIF, all of that stuff that's really nice to have. Also, the speed of the camera itself, 20 frames per second, wonderful for catching any dynamic moments, making the most of those fleeting glimpses of wildlife, really good to have. ISO performance, wonderful for low light. You can push into those kind of last 10, 15 minutes of the day, still get those really nice, clean images that's lovely to have. And the handling, the ergonomics, great. You know, the feel is a larger body, you get a bit more control, more buttons to kind of assign and program, so you can have more features right at your fingertips when you've got your eyes to the viewfinder that I really like. Battery life's really good, and just all around it's a great quality camera that you can take into any environment and know that it's going to work. Now the lens, I picked up the 180 to 600 because this gives a lot of flexibility when it comes to wildlife photography. I think it's a great choice for people getting in, you know, doing a variety of different subjects. That 600mm focal length, of course, gives us a lot of reach to get close to small subjects, little birds, things like that. It's going to be really handy. And the zoom means that I can compose and just change my frame a little bit. That's really quite nice. The aperture of the lens is a 5.6 to 6.3, so not the brightest, but still plenty, especially with a modern camera and sensor, to let that light in and get those kind of depth of field effects that we want with those out of focus backgrounds. And when you compare that and add it to the compression of the 600mm, you're really going to feel that you're still getting those kind of pop to your frame that's really nice to have. The ergonomics of the lens, it's got good weather sealing, not as much as some of the real top end stuff, but really great to have. And the zoom and everything like that feels really nice. Of course, being a bit of a longer lens, larger lens, it can be a bit weighty, but you know, the balance on a camera like this is really nice to have. Now, my second option that I brought along, the 400 4.5. Why have I brought this as well? Because really, you could swap between these two, maybe invest a little bit less in the camera and have this, but why would you want it? Well, firstly, you've got a fixed 400mm prime. The optics, a little bit better, a little bit sharper out to those corners. The IQ is a bit nicer. Really, the key thing is the aperture. The 4.5, in lower light conditions, when you've got a day like this where it's a bit grey, overcast, it's really nice to have. Keep that kind of shutter speed high and get those frames you want. One thing that I love about this, it's a lot lighter and easier to carry. So if you want to go on a nice big hike across Dartmoor, you want to drag the camera with you, this is going to be a lot nicer to bring alongside. And I think this is a really fantastic lens. That's one that I would definitely have in the kit. But yeah, some great options in that kind of £5,000 budget. Right, so when we look at this gear, what are the drawbacks of it? Well, the Z8, firstly, is an incredible camera. There's really not many drawbacks on a Z8. You've just got such great quality in terms of the image and the performance. The only things I would say compared to the flagship Z9 is the battery life is a little bit lower because the Z9 has a much bigger battery. And of course, the Z9 has a built-in portrait grip that's fantastic in terms of just ergonomics and support and stuff like that. You have to add a separate one to this. But for most people, the Z8 is just a phenomenal camera at a really good price point. And it's why in this section, I've kind of allocated more money to the camera rather than the lenses, because I actually think this is where the real upgrade is. Now, in terms of the lens, firstly, the 180 to 600, the aperture is probably the place where you're going to find the most limiting of this lens. That 6.3 aperture in lower light conditions, you're going to find that your shutter speed starts to drop and you have to push further into those high ISOs to make sure you can freeze the motion. That less light into the camera is going to reduce your autofocus speed. That can limit you in certain situations. So tiny little birds moving really quickly, this might struggle a little bit with that. But as a general all-round lens, it's very good. Now, to kind of talk about these options, the 400mm, the reason I selected this as a second option is because it really covers some of the issues that you get with the 180 to 600. Firstly, it's a prime, so you get fixed optics, beautiful quality out of that edge-to-edge performance is outstanding, but faster AF motors that are really nice. The aperture being a 4.5 lets a lot more light in, it helps drive that autofocus, really speed up the camera. It's wonderful. Obviously it's small and light, nice to carry with you as well. The only drawback, of course, is that prime. The fact it's fixed, you can't zoom in and out and change your composition. You've got to really choose a location and make sure that you're in the right kind of area to make that photograph. And with wildlife, that can be a tricky thing to get your kind of head around to learn to do. But once you do, obviously you make the benefit from the IQ of a prime. That's why most of us professionals opt for these lenses.
Considering alternatives to this setup, I think you could look at the A7 IV with maybe the Sony 200 to 600mm lens as a direct comparison to this setup. The A7 IV has a 33 megapixel sensor, so slightly more resolution than the S1 II, but slightly slower speed in terms of continuous shooting, so that tops out at 30 frames per second, but still very fast and great quality. A wildcard alternative to this setup, or even that, is the A7R V, which doubles your resolution, gives you a 61 megapixel resolution sensor. And that means you could choose a 70 to 200 lens, and you've got the croppability of that, and you don't have to get a really long super telephoto lens. So as an option worth considering, but it is slightly slower with only 10 frames per second continuous shooting. £5,000 price point, I think you've got a lot more room and flexibility to pick a camera and lens setup that shoots your particular shooting style. So whether you want to focus on speed if you're shooting particularly fast subjects, or whether you want to focus on resolution if you've got subjects that maybe aren't as mobile but you want to get really high resolution images with that camera and lens setup. I think the reason why I've gone for the S1 Mark II and this particular lens is because I'm prioritizing a full frame sensor with amazing dynamic range, outrageous ISO performance as well. So I'm shooting subjects that are in lower light situations, and a camera like this and a lens like this gives me that kind of flexibility. But yeah, at £5,000, you've got a lot of more room to capture something or to choose a camera setup that suits your particular shooting style and subject matter. Now for the next video, we're going to be talking about the £10,000 price point. You've got money to burn, so I mean, yeah, we're going to go crazy and recommend some really fun stuff. Make sure you check that video out as well.